part of it has to start with knowing what your strengths are and what your weaknesses are. And what I would suggest for anybody that's listening to this podcast is go to the people that you trust. First of all, I'd go to the people that you work with. I
Mm-hmm.
go to people that are in your circle of influence. So it could be friends or family. And then go ask them what is it that they like about you? What is it that they respect about you? What do they admire about you? Why do they want to follow you, or the good your best qualities? And on the other side, you got to find out what your blind spots are. So what I've learned in my career is there are a couple of ways. When I find out a blind spot, that's a great opportunity either for me to get another leader or bring somebody on my team that can help me with that and lean on them for that. Learn, develop myself to get better at that. One of my favorite stories all the time is when Michael Jordan, who was an offensive player, multiple times, they joked about him, said he couldn't play defense. And guess what he learned to do? Play defense and end up winning defensive player of the year because people said he couldn't do it, right? But he had to have that someone tell him the truth about his blind spot in order for him to elevate his game to the next level. So I think the ownership's like this piece of this is you have to understand what your strengths are and what your weaknesses are, and then surround yourself with people that can enhance you or take you to another level. I don't pretend to know it all. What's made me great is I pick good people to work with, which then elevates my game. It's easier for me to get better when I'm around people that want to get better with me. And to answer your question on when do I let go, is I have to stop myself and going, and I refer to a lot of this stuff as actionable data, right? So I have to look at the information. What things can I control and which things are out of my control, and I have to really understand that piece of it, and not let myself get all twisted or annoyed or angry because there's plenty of things that every day I cannot control, and I can't let my brain focus on that. What I have to do is go, what can I do? So if someone's struggling, I can go have a conversation with somebody, find out what they're experiencing, hopefully coach them through, and then see a return on that time investment that I'm making. And I think the greatest investment that any leader can give is time, right? Because it's the most precious commodity that we have. It's not a renewable source. But when you invest in people and you with a care and a real affiliation to helping people grow,
Mm-hmm.
they respond accordingly.
Yeah.
But they have to feel that. Like people say, but a lot of people say they want to help you grow. They don't really mean it. And what you can't see right now in front of me is I have goosebumps. I don't know if you can't probably see this, but I have goosebumps because I really feel like if you can help people get what they want, you get what you want.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I can't help with certain things, and I acknowledge my weaknesses and the areas that I'm not that great in, and I again then try to find people that are great so I can learn from them, and then hopefully maybe improve it slightly. I may not gravitate to that being my greatest strength, but if I can at least improve it a little bit so it's not a detriment to my leadership's capital, that's what I'm after. So
Yeah.
that's when I've had to learn to let go of, like, there's just some things that's not my strength, it's not my skill set, and
Yeah.
that's okay.
Yeah.
And being able to admit that you have weaknesses, I think is a really good quality as a leader to say, I don't know it all. I need your help. Because that makes you vulnerable. It makes you believable. It makes you people feel like, okay, you're not this almighty thing. Because a lot of times CEOs and leaders want to elevate themselves and put themselves on a pedestal to where there's this big, here's the CEO, and then there's this big abyss between them and their employees. What you want this to be is more connected. So when this is connected, everyone benefits. Again, all boats rise on a high tide, right? And I think it's having that awareness and asking for feedback and having trusted advisors in your life that can give you truth. That is such the most valuable because everyone's so surface level. They don't want to hurt people's feelings. I don't want you to feel bad. So they don't really give people the truth. And I think the greatest thing you can do as a leader is be honest and truthful and be direct because no one has time to beat around the bush.
Yeah.
And if you can do it with an empathic way, like using EQ, people then resonate with that. And ultimately, it advances you and so many other facets.
Yeah. You bet.